Transportation Safety Committee. This meeting is now called to order. For those around the table, please turn on your microphone when speaking. For those participating via Zoom, please state your name when making a comment or asking a question. The MAG public comment process allows members of the public to comment on items that fall under MAG's jurisdiction. If you would like to comment on today's meeting, please complete the request to speak form. MAG staff can assist you with any questions you may have. If you parked in the garage, a validation stamp is available on the counter. If you purchased a transit ticket to come to the meeting, please see staff for a ticket. Hearing assisted devices are available from MAG staff. We will now begin the meeting with a roll call of all members.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Muhammad Musa, City of Apache Junction.
Present.
Thank you. Mazen Muradovich, ADOT.
Good morning. Here.
Thank you. Raj Thoudam, City of Avondale. Craig Sharp, City of Buckeye. Raymond Twan, City of Chandler.
Good morning, I'm here.
Thank you. Glenn Robeson, Federal Highway Administration. Clinton Emery, Town of Gilbert. Becca Fashi, City of Glendale.
Present.
Thank you. Eric Sizek, City of Goodyear.
Present.
Thank you. Jesse Torres, Governor's Office of Highway Safety. Keith Drunaski, City of Litchfield Park. Monir Zaman, City of Maricopa.
Present.
Thank you. Elise Moore, McDOT.
Present.
Thank you. Stefan Bach, City of Mesa.
Good morning, President.
Thank you. Austin Kennedy, City of Peoria.
Present.
Thank you. Carl Langford, City of Phoenix.
Good morning, everyone. Present.
Thank you. Nina Arredondo, Pinal County DOT.
Present.
Thank you. Kevin Paxalingan, Town of Quinn Creek.
Present.
Thank you. Helene Dominguez, City of Scottsdale.
Present.
Thank you. Michelle Beckley, City of Tempe.
Present.
Stephen Chang, City of Surprise.
Present.
Thank you. John DeFrancesco, Valley Metro.
Present.
Thank you. Madam Chair, quorum has been established.
Thank you. Our next item is the call to the audience. This is the opportunity for the public to comment on items that fall under MAG's jurisdiction that are not on the agenda. Informational items or items on the agenda for discussion and not for action. 15 minutes will be provided for the call to the audience unless the chair requests an exception to this limit. I have received no request to speak for the call to the audience. Is there anybody? Nope. MAG also provides the opportunity for members of the public to submit written comments via the MAG website. Any comments received 2 hours prior to the meeting have been shared with committee members in advance of the meeting for consideration and will be included in the formal meeting minutes. Staff, have we received any online written comments to the call to the audience?
Thank you, Chair. We have not received any written comments for the call to the audience.
Next item is MAG staff report. This item is on the agenda for information and will be presented by Maggie Wong, the Interim Safety Policy Manager. Maggie?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, everybody. I do have a few updates to report. So first, just want to clarify, so this year we won't be doing a call for projects for Safe Routes to School studies. Amidst this shift in the safety program here at MAG, we're taking the opportunity to conduct an evaluation of our previous Safe Routes to School efforts, which will inform future planning for the program. So we will be conducting an evaluation of the Safe Routes to Schools studies to look at those past studies and make some recommendations on changes and improvements going forward. We also, our crossing guard trainings are going to be shifting from in-person workshops to a virtual platform. So we are working on developing some online training materials that will be accessible year-round, and I'll be reaching out to you all to communicate that out to the school districts and kind of coordinate there. And we're anticipating rolling out those virtual crossing guard trainings mid-July on a similar timeline to when the in-person workshops would take place. And then an exciting update, we are currently in the process of setting up a new regional safety data analysis platform with Cidian. If you've heard of them before, they have a software called Crash that aggregates crash data into some analytics, which is very exciting. So this will serve as a new centralized repository for crash data and other safety related data in our region with that analytics capability and some dashboards built in. It will be a password protected platform, so it's not going to be a public dashboard, and it'll be available to MAG as well as member agencies for access in order to use it for planning and analysis. So we will definitely keep you all posted on that. The timeline is still in progress, but we're anticipating scheduling a training for late May or sometime in June. So once we have the date down, I'll make sure to send out an invitation so you can plan accordingly. And we're recommending that we have 2 to 3 key users from each agency attend that. And then next slide, please. We do have one new member, Clinton Emery, Town of Gilbert. I'm not sure if he was able to join a little late, but we're excited to have him join our group. And with that, Madam Chair, that concludes my staff report.
Thank you, Maggie. The next item is the approval of the January 27th, 2026 meeting minutes. Does any member of the committee have questions? Hearing none. Prior to approval of the meeting minutes, there is an opportunity for members of the public to comment. I have received no requests for this item. Staff, do you have any online written comments? Great. Is there a motion to approve agenda item number 4?
Madam Chair, this is Mazin Muradovich, A.Safety. I make a motion to approve the January 27, 26 Transportation Safety Committee meeting.
Do I have a second?
Yes, Mohammed Musa, Apache Junction.
Great. We have a motion from Mazin Muradovich and a second from Mohammed Musa. We will have those participating in the meeting online take part in a voice vote by turning on their cameras and unmuting their audio. We need to see the faces of everyone to participate in the voice vote. For those who cannot or do not want to turn on their cameras, staff will conduct a roll call vote. Staff will only call on those virtual participants who did not turn on their camera. Members, please leave your cameras on until after the roll call vote so that staff can count the people's names whose cameras are not on. Can I have a voice vote of those in the room and those online? Those in favor, say aye.
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 Those opposed, say nay. Members, please leave your cameras on. Staff, can you take a roll call of members participating virtually who did not turn on their cameras? I think everybody's on. Okay, great. Okay, motion is approved. Next item is a presentation, Improving Safety for the Vulnerable Road User, Utah Department of Transportation's Perspective. This item is on the agenda for information and discussion and will be presented by Mark Taylor from the Utah Department of Transportation.
All right, welcome everybody. Greetings from Utah here, your neighbor to the north. I am here to kind of give you an update on some things that UDOT has been doing in this space to make things safer for the vulnerable road user. Next. So just a brief update here. In the state of Utah, there are about 2,500 the traffic lights. UDOT owns and operates 57% of all of the traffic lights in the state. The other 43% are owned and operated by 54 other jurisdictions. Next. So what the issue is here is that we have got an issue nationwide with the vulnerable road user, the fatals. In the year 2023, we recorded the highest number of PED fatalities since 1981, which isn't good. The other issue here is that 3 out of 4 pedestrian deaths occur when it is actually dark, and about 20% of all of the fatalities involve vulnerable road users. Next. Next. So one of the easy things that we have been doing here in the state of Utah is that we install these special switches on the cabinets where there are school crossing guards crossing the intersection. It's a one-way switch. So we give the crossing guards a key, and the key goes in that switch. They actually turn the key on, and when they turn that key on, it gives them more walking time, and it also shuts down the flashing yellow arrow that's in the conflict with it. We have done this at over 50 intersections here in Utah, and it works really well, and it is empowering the crossing guard to do this. And the nice thing about it is it only happens when the crossing guard is out there doing what they are doing. So it's just another way to make things safer, getting our children across the roadway with additional walking time and not having the actual permissive movement in its way. Next. Next. The other thing that we're doing here in Utah is we are installing the accessible pedestrian signals, or the talkable push buttons, everywhere. We're doing this because it is the federal mandate to basically do it, but that's not the only reason why we are doing that here. We are using the ones where you push or wave, and those are the ones that we are doing. Next. Most of the time in the past, these pushable push buttons, or these talkable push buttons, have gone in for those who are ADA. Next. But some recent research has shown that these talkable push buttons are helping all road users. The research is showing that the perception reaction time goes from about 6 seconds without the audible voice to about the actual 2 seconds with audible. So we are helping to get people off of the curb or shoulder faster and into the roadway. Next. One of the things we have done as well to just help all road users cross the roadway is we are using these ones where you're able to just wave at them. There was a special situation that we had where this person who wasn't able to use his arms or hands called us up and says, "Help, I am not able to cross the road without somebody else pushing the push button for me." So we ended up installing these talkable push buttons that have the radar or the wave technology coming out of it. And then what this user does is he gets his head close to the push button, bobs it up and down a few times, and that's enough to turn the push button on. He was dull-eyed at what we were able to do for him. Next. These talkable push buttons have an app with it as well. So you're able to use an app depending on your level of disability to cross the roadway using voice over text on your mobile phone. And then as a result, the mobile phone gives you additional information back, like how much time you have left to cross the roadway. Next. We have installed just over the 40% so far that UDOT owns, and our goal is to do about 10% a year to have this done in the next the 5 years. Next. Next. The other thing that we do, right, to just kind of make things safer for the vulnerable road user. As I mentioned earlier, 3 out of 4 people are dying in the dark, right? Or sorry, out of all of the actual fatals, 3 or 4 of the PED fatals happen when it is actually dark. So one of the challenges that we have here is that sometimes we are not able to install overhead loom luminaires because there are power lines in the way. So something new that we have been doing is at all of the locations, we are installing mast arm lights if we are not able to install an overhead luminaire. And these mast arm lights just go up about halfway on the mast arm, and they light up the actual crosswalk area. And hopefully this low-cost solution will help us with the vulnerable road users to make things safer at night. It's a very cheap installation to do with the light, and paying an actual contractor to do the work. We're about $1,000. So it's not really a whole lot of money to get this done. Next. Now I'm going to talk to you about LiDAR. This is a subject I'm very passionate with, especially with what we're able to do with this newer technology. Next. Go ahead and play this video here. What you will see is on the left is the LiDAR. In the middle is a CCTV camera, so you're able to just see what is happening here. On the right is older radar that we have used in the past. Just take a look with that LiDAR of what you are able to see. You're able to see everything going on around it. You're also able to see what's going on in the middle of the intersection as well. And you're able to actually track people or the PEDs who are walking across the roadway as well. They are the ones that will highlight in orange, as you're able to see on the northeast, the actual corner there. You'll see that there is a PED waiting to cross the north lake. And anyway, this newer technology here is what UDOT is now installing everywhere. Now we're doing about 10% a year to just kind of spread it out. But this is the only technology right now we are using for vehicle detection, because it does so much more that the other technologies don't do. Next. Just some advantages with it is the resolution that you were able to see was absolutely excellent. We are sending out like 1 million to 5 million lasers per the second. So there's a lot of data going out. You have reduced occlusion as well, because we are using 2 LiDARs. If there is any occlusion, then the other LiDAR is able to see it, because all of the data fields are being merged. Latency is very, very low. We're dealing with half of the equipment that we were installing before. So before, when we were using non-intrusive detection, we were installing equipment on every single leg. Now we have reduced that equipment in half, which is nice. And then it also does pedestrian and bicycle detection as well, if you so desire. Next. So what are we able to do with LiDAR? Just about everything that you could actually dream up. Everything from calling and extending for vehicles, vehicle classification, jaywalking. If you want to monitor how much jaywalking is going on within a couple 100 feet of the traffic light, you're able to do that. You're able to do automatic crash notification. You could also do stuff with the vulnerable road user where you're able to take the X, Y, and Z of where that vulnerable road user is and broadcast it to connected vehicle technology. There's just a host of things that you are able to do with this technology. Next. One of the things that you're able to do is monitor walking speeds. One thing that we have found out in Utah is that the 15th percentile walking speed is 3.9 feet per second. But we have also found that the longer the crosswalk, the faster the walking speed. And this was research we did with Purdue University using the LiDAR to measure this. Next. Let me show you 3 applications that we are currently doing right now with LiDAR to improve the safety for the vulnerable road user. Next. First, everywhere where we install LiDAR, we are setting it up to extend the crossing time for slower moving peds in the crosswalk. We are doing this everywhere where the LiDAR is installed. Next. The second thing we are doing is we are delaying the start of the flashing yellow arrow just during the time that the permissive movement is in conflict with the peds crossing in the crosswalk. For example, if there is a ped on the corner A there on the northwest side, and the ped is crossing from A over to B, once the ped gets to the halfway point is when we will allow the flashing yellow arrow to actually go. But if the ped is going from B over to A, we are holding the flashing yellow arrow back until that ped is across the roadway. Next. The other thing that we are doing is now we are actually testing this. So here we have only done this at 1 or 2 intersections. But one thing we are doing is we have Vehicle to X installed at quite a few of our intersections. That is it's broadcasting out the SPAT or the signal phasing and timing information using connected vehicle technology. What is happening here now is that LiDAR knows the location of the vulnerable road user from what it's able to actually see. LiDAR is then sending that information to the roadside unit, connected vehicle technology, that will then send it to the onboard unit of an equipped vehicle. That equipped vehicle has an onboard app that will give the driver a heads up if there is a vulnerable road user in the same path as the vehicle. Next. So go ahead and play this video here. And this is showing you how that technology is actually working.
It's a pedestrian collision warning. Got it before we're set pretty.
All right, so really cool of how your vehicle detection technology LiDAR that you're able to use now at the traffic light is not only able to detect vehicles and peds and bicycles and do all of those things I have shown you, but it is also able to integrate with connected vehicle technology when that eventually arrives. Next. The other thing that we're doing here is, go ahead and hit next. So this is something else that we are getting ready to actually test, but we are looking at putting some of these blank out the signs up using LiDAR technology, that the blank out sign will only come on when there is a pedestrian in the crosswalk and a vehicle is in the right turn lane. We haven't done this yet, but we are getting ready to do this here in the next month at about half a dozen intersections to just see what LiDAR is able to do using connected vehicle technology to basically turn on these blank out signs to help out the vehicles that are not, equipped with an onboard unit. Next. Next. So in terms of cost, right? People ask, how expensive is this here? Well, keep in mind that the statewide contract that UDOT or that Utah has with our LiDAR vendor, we're paying just under $19,000 for all of the equipment. Now, this same vendor is actually charging other places about $29,000. So it just kind of depends who you are, and I'm not sure why we have such a good deal here in Utah, but the equipment is under $19,000. We are also getting ready to actually test a different LiDAR vendor where the price will be under the $13,000. And I will be testing them here in the next month. Keep in mind that the existing radar that we are using is costing me about $28,000. So right now, I'm about 50% less expensive using the better technology of LiDAR than I am using the older radar that we have been using in the past. Plus, I get all of these additional features that are really quite amazing to help us with help improve the safety of the vulnerable road user. Next. And that is it. That is the presentation I have for you all. So I'll go ahead and turn the time back over to you all.
Thank you, Mark. That's great. Do any members have questions or comments?
I have a question. This is Eric from City of Goodyear. My question is for your crosswalk implementation there for the crossing guards with the key. Do you guys ever come into issues with a crossing guard leaving the key in or leaving that special programming with the extended walk times on longer than outside of school hours, should I say?
Yes, we have had it happen once or the twice here. And one thing that UDOT has is we have automated traffic signal performance measures, and so do many cities there in Maricopa County. The automated traffic signal performance measures, or ATSPM for the short, is able to actually flag that and actually find it. And there's been once or twice where we've gone out there and grabbed the key, and then we give it to the crossing guard the next day and say, hey, you left the key in the key switch. Please don't do that anymore, right? So we were able to have that conversation, but it doesn't happen very often. And what's amazing with what we have been doing there is crossing guards are empowered to do it only when they need it. So some crossing guards don't do it at all for ingress because it creates too much backing of the traffic, but they do it for egress when all of the kids are showing up at once. So it's worked out quite well. $50, really easy fix.
No, thank you.
Mazen?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you for the presentation. This is Mazen Muradovic, Arizona, the Department of Transportation Safety Engineer. I just wanted to ask, I missed the first part of your presentation as far as how long have you been using the new LiDAR system?
Yeah, we have been testing LiDAR for about the 4 years now. It wasn't just until this last year where we've been really able to start moving with it. So we have got about 120 intersections of the 1,400 and the 30 that UDOT owns installed with the LiDAR technology. My goal is to upgrade about 10% more, a year. So about 100 to about 150 every single year.
No, thank you. As you know, we are also dealing with a lot of issues with the vulnerable road users here in Arizona. We're one of the focus states as far as the issues we're dealing with that. So what is your anticipation with this implementation that you're doing? Are you going to be doing some kind of after study, evaluate, and decide on whether these are the right kind of measures, and how are you measuring your benefit cost ratio, if you will, or a success story with the implementation of kind of measures?
Yeah, so we have been doing the research for about 3 or 4 years now. So we have already researched that LiDAR works very, very well. We have looked at the volume accuracy on the actual counts. They are much better than what radar was giving us in the past. So we actually know the LiDAR is very, very accurate. Now, in terms of how are we measuring the other MOEs, we don't really have a defined plan on how we go about doing that. However, it's very transparent to us that we are able to do so much more for the vulnerable road user than we ever have with any other technology that we have used. So as a result, we're moving ahead, right? We're moving ahead because of the safety benefits, which are actually pretty obvious. Now, how are we measuring those safety benefits? We really don't have a mechanism set up to do that, but we know by holding back the actual permissive movement of the flashing yellow arrow that will actually help, or giving people more the crossing time, that will help, or just being able to know how many vulnerable road users we have at a traffic light will make things actually better. So we haven't really measured this exactly, but just knowing that we are now capable of doing so is much better than not having any information before, or having any any mechanism to do any of this. So I hope that answered your question there.
Yeah, thank you for your answer. Appreciate it. Hopefully,
in addition, it's 50% less expensive, so it's a no-brainer for us to do it.
No doubt about it. The way it is with the expenditures and then with the budget, it's always a challenge. Thank you for that. Appreciate it.
Are there any other questions? Oh, Stefan.
This is Stefan Bach with the City of Mesa. One question. You mentioned future yield to pedestrians blackout signs. These are being activated once a push button is being pushed. Do you anticipate these to be installed in school locations? And how long does it take for the blackout sign to be activated once the push button is pushed?
So the plan with those blank out signs is to use connected vehicle technology only with LiDAR. So we are not doing it by a push button push. We are doing it by LiDAR, seeing that there's a vulnerable road user on the corner of the intersection, And then by only turning it on when that vulnerable road user gets into the crosswalk and there is a vehicle in the right turn lane. We plan on doing that only with the roadside unit using LiDAR. That is the plan. Now, we're only putting like half a dozen of these in right now. We have chosen areas where there are a lot of the peds crossing the roadway, but we're kind of testing this through an actual federal grant that we received from the US government about connecting the West. And we'll see how this goes, right? We haven't done it yet, but we are getting ready to. We have a contractor right now getting ready to install the blank out signs.
Thank you.
Any more questions? Okay, seeing none, I want to thank Mark for your presentation. It was excellent. I really appreciate it.
All right, sounds good, folks. Thanks. Bye.
Our next item was ADOT statewide network screening. Unfortunately, the presenter is unable to make the meeting today. So we're going to move this to our next meeting in May, and we'll hear a presentation from ADOT then. Item 7 was City of Mesa Comprehensive Safety Action Plan. This item is on the agenda for information and discussion and will be presented by Sabine King. Is that correct?
Sabina King.
Sabina King.
Yeah.
From the City of Mesa. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm excited to be here today. Again, Sabina King. I'm with the City of Mesa Transportation Department. And we're going to talk about our plan and how we created it, the timeline, where we're at today, and where we're going. So I look forward to presenting that. Next slide. Oh, see, is it back there? Ah, there we go. I went to, yeah, okay, here's our timeline. Just for some context, we submitted our grant application. It was due in September of 2022. And then the award notification happened about 5 months later in February of 23. Took a little bit with the feds and working with them to get the signed grant agreement completed. That was in August. And then we're able to start work with the consultant by December of 2023. The work on the plan took about 1.5 years and completed in April of 25, and then it was officially approved by council in May of 25. And our grant agreement ends this year, August 21, 2026. And the way we wrote the plan allowed us to still use funds even though the plan is completed. So I'll talk a little bit more about that, but it was really helpful the way it was done. It wasn't really intentional, but once we realized this is great. I'm glad we did it that way. All right, as part of the application, we worked with our mayor to do a proclamation, and that proclamation says that we are committing to reduce fatalities and serious injury crashes caused by motor vehicles by 30% by 2030. That is a lofty goal. We understand that. We worked with city management, with PD, and figured out what we want to call it and how we want to do this. And that was something we agreed on and decided, we're going to shoot for the moon and do our best that we can do to get there. Our baseline crash data was for 2022, which was at 248 serious injuries and fatal crashes in the city of Mesa. And a 30% reduction means a reduction of about 76 incidents. And as of 2024, this is the latest vetted data we have. And I want to add to that, staff actually reads all the crash reports for fatalities, for serious injuries, bike, ped, and also motorcycles. So we are including motorcycles in our vulnerable road user category internally, just because there has been such an increase in motorcycle fatalities that we felt it was prudent that we do that and take a special attention to the motorcycles as well. Anyway, that's why our data is a little bit behind. But since 2022, so in 2024, we are seeing a 12% reduction in the number of people injured and killed, and about a 6% reduction in actual crashes, because sometimes in a crash you can have multiple people hurt or killed. So there is a slight discrepancy. I'm happy about it, but I also realize that that is not all our doing. I mean, crashes go up and down. There's, we try as much as we can to influence it, obviously, and this plan is helping us. The reality is it's probably not all, well, it's not all in our control. We know that. And we do see a little bit of a trend upwards in 2025 already, but like I said, this plan is giving us a great basis and a great plan to know what we do moving forward. Here again, a little bit of where we are. We have what the data means in 2022. We have about 4 people that are killed or seriously injured on Mesa roadways every week. And we also know that over 50% of crashes, of killed and serious injury crashes occur at intersections. And also a high risk group for us is the group of age of under 25, as well as 65 and older. Those are overrepresented in our crash data. And as I hinted at earlier, we have a lot of motorcycle crashes. So 39% of motorcycle crashes actually result in a fatality or severe injury. So that's just a quick summary of where we are with the 2017 and to 2022 data that we have in the plan. The plan shows the high risk network, which includes not just where crashes happened, it also looks at risk factors. Some of them I mentioned. It's the age of people that are involved in crashes. It is also the speed of the roadway. Higher speeds cause higher injury or fatality. We also know that arterials are overrepresented in our crash data. So with all of that, we created our higher risk network, and we know that 39% of our KSI crashes in the city are accounted for within 37 miles of Mesa's roadways. So there is a lot, obviously, a lot we need to get to. Luckily, not all of this is new to us. We look at our crashes every year. We have a good pulse on it. So as we were developing CIP projects, capital improvement projects over the years, we were aware of these areas, and we do have some large projects that are coming to fruition where we didn't wait for the plan to figure out funding and get it implemented. We actually planned for it, which is nice. We're looking forward to going to construction on multiple projects that are shown in these areas here this year, and hopefully make a dent in what we're seeing. And I want to add, that was a very high focus back in 22 when we started this. 95% of this network falls within underserved communities. Currently, it's not as you're probably aware, it's not a high focus, but we'll definitely keep that on the radar. We pay attention to that, and we'll still consider this as a factor of where to focus on and how to prioritize certain projects. With that, I want to change gears a little bit, and I'm going to show a little video. Oh wait, there's one more. I apologize. I should have changed my slides. I have one more slide actually talking about the projects. In the plan, it ties directly to the high-risk network. We also identified projects and what they would look like and what safety elements they would need to include to address the crashes that are happening at these locations. And that's a variety of things. Raised medians comes up a lot. We have protected left turns. We have, in some areas on smaller streets, collector streets, we are looking at roundabouts or narrowing the roadway in general, repurposing lanes, providing pedestrian crossings. So all those elements are in these projects, and 16 of those projects were considered a tier 1 priority, so high priority. And if these projects are built, we are hoping to prevent approximately 17 fatalities. And just to go back to the initial slide, to get to 30% reduction, we're looking at 76 fatalities need to be reduced. So it puts a dent in it. The cost is $76.5 million. That's a lot of money, but it won't get us to our goal. Even if we did all of our 16 tier 1 projects, which is not a reality. We're looking at 3 right now as part of CIP and slowly adding more, but just for context, it's going to be a big undertaking. And we know that we can't engineer our way out of this problem. It's not possible, right? It's just, we won't have enough funding. Even if we did all these projects right now, we may not be able to get to where we need to go. And so we have a big emphasis on what we call our phase 3 outreach right now, is really getting engaged with the community and having people take responsibilities for their action. And so now we're going to switch gears a little bit. I want to show a video that we did, and it really speaks for itself.
The importance of my son coming home that day meant the world to me. And unfortunately, that didn't happen. And in a perfect world, I would wish that nobody would ever have to experience the loss of a loved one with something like this. Like, it's just so sudden. I ask all motorists out there to just be careful. There's a famous saying of look twice, save a life. I can't express that enough. Intersections, turning at intersections, turning in front of oncoming traffic, oncoming motorcyclists. That's exactly how I lost my son. That's exactly how I lost Alex. But I have taken personal responsibility for myself when I'm on the roadways to ensure that I support and live up to the message that I'm asking any other vehicleists or motorists out there. So again, look twice, you could save a life.
All right, it's a sad message, and I wish we didn't have to present it that way, but it's the reality. And so again, the phase 3 outreach of our comprehensive safety action plan is the public engagement. So what you saw here was working together with George, who's the father of the kid that got killed riding a motorcycle, and Alex did everything right. He wore his helmet, he wore protective gear, he did all the things, and the vehicle turned left in front of him. So even when you do everything correctly, things happen. And, people don't come home. And that is something we all need to be aware of and are aware of, but also take responsibility for. And so after this incident, George created a nonprofit organization, and he's doing a lot of outreach, getting the word out about look twice, save a life, and being safe on a motorcycle. And so we partnered with him, not just to develop this video and share that with the community. He's also coming to our events, sharing his message and working with us closely. And what we see from that is by including our residents like that, it's not coming from the city. It's not coming from the government telling you what to do or what not to do. It's actually within your peers. It's more relatable that way when you have, your neighbor tell you why and why you should be careful and why you should follow the traffic laws. So this is a big push for us right now, and we'll continue to work with him. Another thing we've done as part of the phase 3 outreach, we were able to invest in what you see in the picture in the top left corner. It's hard to tell what it is, but it's a selfie machine. And a selfie machine, you can stand in front of it, take a picture, and you print out a picture, and then it's a pledge that you commit to share the road, stop on red, follow the traffic laws, and all those things. So people can take that home with them. We have like little traffic cones, little signs they can hold up and just take pictures with their friends and families and kids. It's very, very popular. We take that to our events and increase public engagement that way. And you can see a picture on the bottom left. That was a family taking a picture with the booth. So we get a lot of that. And the machine also records email addresses, and people are aware of that. So the people can email the pictures to them, but allows us to connect with them and share more safety messages through our database, which has been nice. Another thing that we have in the CSAP is a comprehensive safety action plan is build out a community ambassador program. And we also utilize these email addresses for that. So we ask for volunteers to our events. We ask to help out when we're building kits that we give out, and I'll get to that in a minute, but really have engagement from the community to help out with the city, to then them share the message with their family, loved ones, and friends to hopefully also want to get engaged and understand why we do what we do and why it is important. And we are really happy to report that we have multiple volunteers now that come every Thursday. And we're hoping to build that out further to have our ambassadors in the community and speak our message. And another thing we developed as part of getting out into the community and specifically into schools to address the younger community is we had staff put their heads together and figure out how can we build a curriculum that schools can use that's helpful for them, that spreads a safety message. And what that ends up being now, it's on the right, you see a picture is kids can build a pedestrian light that lights up when you push the button. But we have a big pamphlet, and with that, It also teaches about electrical circuits, and you can make it as complex as you want. So for teachers, it's really helpful. They have a teaching element for electrical circuits, and it's on the basis of the STEM theme. And also kids get to build something, they're engaged in it. There's little wire nuts that, maybe sometime down the road when they get to work on their own house, they remember, oh, I remember how this works. I can put wires together. But also spreading the message of, push the button when you cross the street, and you should always push the button and wait for your light, and how do you cross safely, and really do that in a playful way, and it can be targeted to multiple ages. And we've been really successful in reconnecting with schools and them utilizing these kits, and we have them, they can be picked up at our libraries for free. So any person can go pick up a kit like that. It also explains about parts of a traffic signal. So you learn a little bit about the traffic engineering world as well. But yeah, they can be picked up anytime. All of our volunteers help building them. We've translated them into Spanish. So we obviously have a high Spanish population in Mesa, so that's been really embraced by a lot of the schools, and we're really happy about the engagement we're seeing and the impact we're slowly making, and also increasing our social media targets with creating videos and creating material around this. And that's our big push right now that we're doing through August, and I'm really excited about opportunities and things we were able to embrace with the money that we still had left over with the planning grant after the plan was actually completed. So yeah, we have a few more things to do. The next thing we have is we working on, it's another kit that we're going to give out, and it's different scenarios to build a street cross section with different focus areas. You have transit, and you have a school in the area. How do we build a safe pedestrian crossing? And they're going to get a plan view map with different icons that they can place on a map and build a safe street. And so that's currently in the works, and that's going to tie into the pedestrian signal kit. It's just another way of getting out into the schools and doing education. So yeah, we're going to continue work on that, and then we'll continue to have that beyond the plan. Those are all things we can pay for outside of the plan money. It was just, a good way to utilize the money in a meaningful way, and to really push the goal of getting community engagement. All right, now the next task that we're looking at is how do we report on the many different goals and strategies we have in our comprehensive safety action plan. There's over 50 things, and it goes from increasing race medians to adding bike lanes, separated bike lanes, to the obvious tracking crashes and the impact of crashes, to doing targeted outreach, increasing full enforcement, doing DUI task forces. So it's multiple groups within the city that work together. But how do we work on that, and how do we make sure what we do does what we want it to do, and how can we track that? So we are currently working with a consultant that we're about to hire. We have a kickoff meeting next week. We're excited about. They have an online dashboard, and we're going to recreate the high-risk network with the 2017 through 2022 crash data we have in the plan. And I should add a little backtrack a little bit. We realized we don't have the capacity or the expertise internally to actually build this high-risk network ourselves. So that's why we engaged with the consultant, and that effort, actually, the initial engagement is also still paid for with the planning grant, because it directly relates to the planning grant. But this consultant will build the existing high-risk network for us and then add future data. That way we can track how we're doing with all the improvements we're doing. And as part of that, we're also working on including our metrics in the plan. And it will be really interesting to see how that plays out. We have a lot of data already in GIS, where we're installing pedestrian crossings, where we're installing protected left turns. And then there's data that we just don't have in GIS yet, and we're trying to figure out how to, it may even be an Excel sheet, how to gather the data and how to collect it and have it shown on that same dashboard. And so we look forward to seeing how that evolves, and what we can take away from this as we update our crash data and we implement various improvements, and even outreach, and like I said, DUI task force, and how that all gets married together with the data and how we can visualize that. Lastly, I'm excited to report that we did also get an implementation grant based on our plan, and we tackled our low-hanging fruit in the sense that the cost was actually relatively low for this, and it has a big impact. The plan included the analysis of 13 intersections. Well, there were actually 28 intersections, but left turn crashes and pedestrian crashes and bike crashes. All the crashes were evaluated at these left turn intersections or signalized intersections. And out of 28, 13 were recommended to go to protected only phasing. And 5 of them were pretty simple. We do a head swap, some striping changes, and we could already do that in-house, no big deal. So we've converted those. 8 of them required bigger improvements. They required ramp improvements, push button additions, replacing poles, moving some of the medians, adding some medians. So the 8 that were bigger fiscal impacts were packaged into this grant package, and the total was about $4 million. And we applied in June of 2025. We got notified in late December of 25, and we're actively working on getting that grant agreement completed so we can hopefully kick off the design the end of the year. And again, it's 8 traffic signals throughout the city, protected left turns with ADA, ramps, and we're looking at new technology. So the previous presentation was actually very timely. I'm glad that came, and my brain was going as I heard it to see what we can do here. But I think there's lots of great applications, and so I'm hoping that this will be fairly simple in a sense that those are existing signalized intersections, and we haven't gotten full approval yet, but I'm hoping we can do a fast track design or a simplified design to get that project underway, constructed quicker than your standard corridor CIP project that takes a long time. So we'll like I said, we're still working on that, but that's my hope, that we can maybe do 30% plans and or 60 to 90 and skip 30, or I don't know, like do something preliminary and then go straight to 90 in construction, but we haven't gotten the official word on that yet. But looking forward to that, to getting that completed and making another dent in our killed and serious injury crashes in the city of Mesa. And with that, I'll turn it over for questions.
Thank you, Sabina. Do any members have questions or comments?
I have to have a question, sorry. Thanks, Sabina, that was interesting. And I share with you the struggle that we deal with in the state as far as the outreach part on the safety campaign. And the real challenge here is how can you actually quantify the responses of the public? It's really difficult, but so we're getting a lot of, what we call social media clicks, but what does that mean? We don't know. They're watching it, they're seeing it. I was wondering if you guys are approaching this from a different direction. Is it, how would you anticipate maybe to get some kind of metrics out of that or value to this data?
It's a very good question that we're currently discussing. So our Mesa Moves, it's our bicycle pedestrian group. We rebranded it as Mesa Moves. Is doing most of the comprehensive safety action plan outreach. It makes sense to have, and we have our own Facebook account. So we have a City of Mesa Facebook account, PD has an account, but transportation doesn't have their own account, so it's only Mesa Moves. So we're using that platform to increase engagement. So that one, how many more followers do we have? How many impressions do we see on our posts? I mean, that's fairly straightforward because it's in our control. But what it means, we're still trying to figure that out exactly. Now we have 200 more followers. Okay, how does it translate into anything? That's a fair question. At this point, we're just happy to see the engagement, really. That's where we're at. Like we're doing, we're trying different things with outreach. We're actually doing advertisement on Spotify, iHeartRadio, and we have a lot of Spanish speaking population, obviously. So we do our PIO, she speaks Spanish. So she actually is fluent in Spanish, which has been nice. So she's doing radio ads and interviews in Spanish as well, which has been helpful. So really, like I said, right now we're trying to just increase followers, increase engagement, good or bad. I mean, it's all, you know, engagement is always good. They're not everybody's happy, obviously. And then we also utilize our city account. We're not allowed to have Twitter, but I know a lot of the younger population use Twitter. So the way we got around it that we're trying out is we're working with our Chamber of Commerce. They have a Twitter account, and so they can mention us, but we can't post directly to Twitter. So we're trying to find ways around it to really just trying to get people to know about our program and go from there.
Yeah,
But like
this is
it's
good.
hard to measure.
Appreciate that because we're trying also to find that solution to that. We're reaching out to other jurisdictions, trying to find out what they do and how we could do it. We're on the state level, where they are on the local level. They all have their issues. So we're working on this towards that. Another point that got my eye is the additional improvement on the high visibility crosswalks. This is very interesting. Are you guys having issues with nighttime crashes related to VRUs?
Not necessarily. I'm not saying no, they happen. I don't know that they're overrepresented necessarily. In these 8 locations, there were pedestrian crashes multiple times a day. And I'll be honest, I wrote the application and tried to make it competitive, and it is a crash reduction factor if you use high visibility crosswalks. And so it was really just trying to figure out how to strategically make this most competitive that we can.
Sure.
And since we had pedestrian crashes, it did make an impact on how you know, how effective this was going to be in reducing crashes.
No, that's good.
That was the science behind it. You know, does it make sense? Is it going to get us where we need to go? And is it adding to the crash reduction? And it did in this case.
That's all I have. Thank you very much for your response.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you. Are there any other questions or comments? Okay, hearing none, thank you so much for your presentation. That was great.
Yeah.
Item 8 is the request for future agenda items. Are there any requests from the membership for an item on a future agenda? Mazen?
So I know that we're going to be doing this network screening next time around, so we will plan on it. I'd like to also make a request to Madam Chair and Maggie, Safety Policy Manager, is maybe to present at the safety education campaign that the Arizona Highway Department is undertaking right now, and where we at with that process and the tools we're using and all that stuff. So I'd like to report at some point, if you allow me, it's whenever. So it's going to be related to education, safety education campaign. Thanks.
Hey, anybody else? Anyone online have any agenda items for the future? Okay, hearing none, we'll go on to item 9, comments from the committee. This agenda item is an opportunity for committee members to present a brief summary of current events for information only. Staff, can we go down the list to give each member the opportunity to share comments or updates?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Muhammad Musa, City of Apache Junction.
No comment.
Thank you. Mazen Muradovich, ADOT.
Just a comment and a request to the committee members. So we at Arizona Safety Section are leading the effort for the strategic highway safety plan with respect to emphasis areas that we have included in this plan, being intersections, lane departure, VRUs, that's the vulnerable road users, ped and bike, human behavior, safety-related data, and tribal land. So I'd like just to extend our request to the members to encourage them to be involved and active into these emphasis area meetings. And I would like just to have that my contact available to the committee just for them to reach out. I totally would like the locals to be very active because we look at them as a guide from the local side to what issues they're having and what can we present as a strategies into the safety plan overall on top of what we deal with as a state. So please be active and it's going to be very interesting kind of encounter for all of you. So hopefully we hear from you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mazen. Raj Thowdam, City of Avondale.
No comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Craig Sharp, City of Buckeye.
Buckeye has no updates.
Thank you. Raymond Huang, City of Chandler.
Yeah, Chandler just started doing our Safe Street for All. We got our consultant and gonna kick off the project pretty soon. Thanks for Sabina. The presentation was great. It helps a lot with us. Beside that, that's all we have. Thank you.
Thank you, Raymond. Andy Smith, Town of Florence.
We have nothing to add. Thank you.
Thank you. Clinton Emery, Town of Gilbert.
Yeah, hello everyone. Thank you for the presentations. Town of Gilbert doesn't have anything at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Becca Fashi, City of Glendale.
No update from Glendale at this time.
Thank you. Eric Sizek, City of Goodyear. Eric Sizek, City of Goodyear. Monir Zaman, City of Maricopa.
We don't have any updates. Thank you.
Thank you. Elise Moore, McDot.
No updates at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Stefan Bach, City of Mesa.
No comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Austin Kennedy, City of Peoria.
No comments or updates from Peoria at this time.
Thank you. Carl Langford, City of Phoenix.
Thank you. I really appreciate everybody's presentations today. Great information, whatnot. No updates for Phoenix at this time.
Thank you. Nina Arredondo, Pinal County Dot.
No updates. Thank you.
Thank you. Kevin Paxalingen, Town of Quinn Creek.
Excuse me. We're also working on our SS4A, our Transportation Safety Action Plan. I believe we're going to put some information on our website pretty soon for the public. And we've been working with our consultant to identify projects and different things of that nature. One thing I'm excited about is trying to look at ways to improve safety in neighborhoods. So we're going to update our neighborhood traffic plan to include mini roundabouts and different things to improve safety, but also still keep traffic flow going and not impede it. And that is all for me.
Awesome. Thank you, Kevin. Helene Dominguez, City of Scottsdale.
No update. Thank you.
Thank you. Stephen Chang, City of Surprise.
No updates at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Michelle Beckley, City of Tempe.
No updates from Tempe. Thank you.
Thank you. John DeFrancesco, Valley Metro.
Nothing to add. Thank you.
Thank you. Have I missed any members? All right, back to you, Madam Chair.
Okay, I'll go to adjournment. The next meeting of the Transportation Safety Committee will be on Tuesday, May 26, 2026 at 10 a.m. With no further business, today's meeting is adjourned.